students. Today's class will be discussing about production system. As we had already mentioned, so far the prerequisite of this understanding about this mathematics and course machine. The objective of this course is provide a strong foundation of fundamental concept in artificial intelligence, to provide a basic exposition to the goals and methods of artificial. This particular course is also going to enable the students to apply techniques in application which involve perception, reasoning, and learning. It will also allow you to distinguish between a conventional and artificial intelligence. You'll be able to understand the various artificial techniques solving the domain. In today's lecture, we'll be covering production system versus output system, these components of production system, production rules, and a brief about your. Now, what is a production system? Production system type of programming language. An expert system is, on the other hand, is a type of program. Production systems are a form of declarative programming where you specify but not how it is to be. Declarative programming works best when your program can be naturally expressed using production rules, something like when and then, and you need to be able to frequently add or delete. For example, many email programs allow you to add rules for processing emails when they arrive. It's convenient to use production rules for processing emails since you want what you want to be done can be expressed naturally as a production. Like when the subject, for example, when the subject contains Nigerian prince, then the move message should be moved to junk mailbox. So you can always write a production rule for this purpose. But since you will be adding or deleting production, it is also convenient to maintain them in this form and to allow the process of how the productions are applied to be automatically handled. Generally, expert systems refer to programs that emulate specialized human expertise, for example, diagnosing. Such expertise can frequently be expressed using rules and can be incrementally added or removed. So these types of programs are often implemented using production systems since it is convenient. So while production systems have a strong association with expert system, not all programs written with a production systems are of course expert system, and not all expert systems are written with the help of production systems. Now, a production system consists of following components. Number one, set of production rules, which are of the form A determine B. Each rule consists of a left hand side consequent and represent the current problem state, and the right hand side that represent the output state. The rule is applicable if its left hand side matches with the current problem state. Number two, it also contain a database which contains all the appropriate information for the particular task. Some part of the database may be permanent, while some part of it this may pertain only to the solution of the question. Number three, it should also have a control strategy that specifies the order in which the rule will be compared to the database rules and the way of resolving the conflict that arises when several rules matches simultaneously. And number four, a rule applier should also be there, which checks the capability of rule by matching the current state with the left hand side of the rule and finds the appropriate rule from the database. Now, the important role played by production systems include a powerful knowledge presentation. It's a core component of production system. Production system not only represent knowledge but also action. It acts as a bridge between AI and experts. Production system provides a language in which the representation of expert knowledge is very natural. You can represent knowledge in a production system as a set of rules of the form, if condition, then another. Is in the form of A determine B. It also includes a control system and a database. The control system serves as a rule interpreter and a sequence. Also, because it also determines the sequence execution of. The database acts as a context buffer, which records the conditions evaluated by the rule and the information on which to act. Production rules are also known as either condition action or antecedent consequent, pattern action, situation response, feedback results. So this has been also represented. Now, production system, for example, if you have this is one kind of rule for production system. Like if you have an exam tomorrow, then study the whole night. So it is an if-then kind of rule, which has been mentioned earlier. You can call it as an if-then rule. You can call it as a condition action, because the left-hand side represents the condition and the right-hand side represents the action. You can also call it as an consequent, pattern action, situation response, and feedback results. Now, the production system can be classified as monotonic, non-monotonic, partially commutative, and commutative. Now, AI system developed for solution of any problem or a production system. Once the problem is defined, analyzed, and represented in a suitable formalism, the production system is used for application of rules. On the other hand, for the expert system is concerned, it is a computer application that uses rules, various approaches, and the facts to provide solution to complex problems. There are multiple expert systems, out of which the can study two expert systems. One is Mycin, another is Dendrel. Mycin uses the backward chaining technique of regioning to diagnose bacterial infection, and Dendrel employs the to forward chaining method of regioning to establish the structure of chemicals. Go through this one under the chapter in detail. There are three components of an expert system, as which has been reflected in the diagram also. One is inferential and the knowledge. So far, today's class is concerned. So we have studied about production system. What's the difference between production system? We have studied about the various components of production system. We have also studied about the production rules and a brief about the. So for the references are concerned, these are the references follow. Out, you can always put the query in the main